ForeVR Bowl is a bowling game for the Oculus Quest and Quest 2, which allows you to play in single player, online multiplayer or locally in your home using the pass and play option. It's available now on the Quest store, so let's take a look.
Immersed Robot.
Hello everyone, welcome to Immersed Robot again. So ForeVR Bowl is a new bowling game for the Quest. It's just been released and it's got single player, it's also got online multiplayer and local multiplayer too. Now, I played a bit of the single player for these first impressions, and with the single player you also get linked online leaderboards as well. So you can still play against other people's scores even in the single player mode, which is a good little option. It keeps you coming back and wanting to keep beating your high score and other people's high scores as well. So in this game, after a quick tutorial that takes you through the basics, which are pretty, basic mechanics really. You pick up a ball, you throw it, but it's about selecting the right kind of ball and obviously positioning your throw and that kind of stuff. But you're pretty much straight into the game then, and you are really, as you play through, as you progress, as you level up, you will collect different types of balls, and each of these bowling balls have different features. Some, for example, will have a slow spin, some will curve away from the gutter, others will just keep on going straight. Now, when I first went in, I did find that it actually took a little bit of practice to get my eye in, but once you do, it sort of clicks after a while, and once you do that, then you can actually work in strategies of how to play as you would in any normal traditional bowling game really. But this does differ from that by the aspect that you do need to select the right ball for the job in any particular situation. So for example, usually I will start with the red bowling ball, which will really steer away from the gutters, so you can sort of aim very slightly towards the right hand side gutter, and then it will curve away from that and then go straight into the centre again. Now, you don't always want to use that kind of ball, because if you've got a spare, for example, then you don't want it to curve away from that spare. You need to select a different kind of bowling ball, which will probably have a straighter aim or a kind of spin that you can predict a little bit more accurately. So I did really like that aspect of the game, because you can collect all of these different types of bowling balls and all of them have different characteristics, and they can each be utilised, and you can change your strategy as you go on, change your play style really. And I thought that was a great way of just keeping the longevity going within this game. It's very much a straightforward bowling game, but this added aspect does create this extra dimension really with it. It's actually pretty addictive to sort of plan your strategy in these ways really. And I say strategy, what I mean is, if you've got certain spares in certain patterns, you know the kind of ball which you've been successful with in the past, and that's what you need to select going forward. You also get various locations to play on. It's not just your straightforward bowling alley lane that you get. You also get a few other various locations. One of my favourites was the lunar lanes, where you play on a bowling alley on the moon, and it's just different environments really. It just keeps you coming back and selecting your favourite location really. But the graphics in general are very nicely polished anyway, so you do get a little bit of scenery as you play your game. It's not the focus of course, but it's nice to have different locations and different scenery that you play in. So when I first started playing this game, there was this aspect where I was thinking about, the tracking limitations of the Quest, where you have inside-out tracking, and for a period of time, when you have your backswing, the bowling ball will be out of line of sight of your tracking cameras, and this is always sort of played on my mind a little bit with certain games. I remember, for example, trying inside-out tracking on my Quest with a game called ForeVR on the PC, and that really isn't a game that you can play. It's a pool game primarily, and you can't really play that with inside-out tracking because there is no way to accurately track your hand, which is behind your back holding the cue and creating the power in each shot. So that game is really impossible to play with inside-out tracking in my experience. I've never managed to get it to work in any real way unless you really hold the cue in a sort of unnatural way really to get it to force it to work. And within games like this, like bowling, and also in a golfing game where you have a full swing, you have a certain amount of time where your tracking hand will be outside of the view of the cameras, and the positional tracking of your hand won't be accurate. It relies on the IMUs within the controller and sort of an algorithm to predict where your hand is at any one time. Now, for games like this, and also in golf, it's only out of the clear line of sight of your cameras on the Quest for a very brief amount of time, so it's not really too much of an issue. But it's this aspect which is always always played on the back of my mind in games like this, where how accurate is it? Is it really taking into account how good my shot is from start to finish, or is it sort of using an algorithm to try to predict roughly where it is? And I guess it's a little bit of both. I'm just mentioning this really because it's sort of something that plays on my mind occasionally. It's probably more on me than it is on the game, but really taking that aside, the game doesn't need 100% accuracy anyway, but I think it does do a pretty good job of having that level of accuracy within the game, and it seems to. I've had no tracking issues at all, I should mention that, but it's just something that plays on my own mind, so I wanted to bring it up. But the game is a light-hearted, fun game anyway. It's not really going for that ultra sim feel or anything like that, so you can relax a little bit with this kind of stuff. But I actually really enjoyed it, and I did get a little bit addicted to it for a period of time as well, because there's just something, you want to beat your score, and it's just got that, it feels great to play as well. So yeah, this is definitely one that I would recommend people take a look at. I'm not aware of the price at the moment, but if it comes out for the right price and you're into this kind of bowling game, then this is definitely one to check out, I would say. Yeah, I can highly recommend this one actually. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Please consider picking up my science fiction virtual reality focused novel, The Memory Engine, a light-hearted tongue-in-cheek adventure through the metaverse, available on Amazon Kindle, paperback and as an Audible audiobook. Links in the description to this video.